Hey guys, what is going on? Lego Man 123 are back with another video, and welcome back to another Tails Thing making video, where today, in this episode, this is actually suggested by one of my amazing viewers, and that viewer is Lego Potter Productions. I would definitely recommend checking out their channel because they do some really cool and also some pretty awesome Lego Harry Potter content like stop motions and reviews, and just a lot of other really awesome Lego Harry Potter content. And their suggestion was to do all the Lego Harry Potter sets of all time. But quickly, before I get into it, I just want to quickly say that this video will be split into possibly maybe 5, because each episode I'll be doing a row, and I would much rather do that instead of having like a really long video, like possibly over 30 minutes, and I really don't want to do that. Also, just very quickly, with these Harry Potter sets, I believe they range from 2001 when Harry Potter first came out, maybe, all the way up to 2010 or 2012, and I believe most of the sets from that time period are. Some might be missing, and I really tried to find a tier listing making sort of maker as well as I could with majority of the Harry Potter sets from that sort of time period. So if there are a couple missing, then very sorry about that. And also, I'll be excluding the latest Harry Potter sets from 2018 to 2020 so far, because I've already done separate videos on that on my channel, so you could definitely take a look at them. So without further ado, let's get into it. So, starting off, we have this Harry Potter set from possibly maybe 2001, when it actually first began, and I believe this is some sort of like potions class with Draco and then his two friends Crabbe and Goyle. So I really like seeing those three minifigs in a set, because you really didn't get to see them too much in some of the like latest Harry Potter sets, so it was really cool to just see them for the first time in a set together. And I think they definitely do capture the look of them, because each of them do have a pretty unique design to them. For instance, Draco has blonde hair, and then either Crabbe or Goyle has this really specific sort of cut, and then also the other one, Crabbe or Goyle, does have a very specific cut. And I really like the build for this. I really like the sort of dark colors. I think that might be a potions class, or like the sort of Slytherin common room with like the greens. So I really like the overall design for that. So I might possibly put this maybe in B, in first position at the moment. Then we have, I believe this is the Dueling Club from the Chamber of Secrets, and I thought that was definitely a really cool scene to actually build a Lego set on, but I really wish Lego created a new updated version for that, because it would have been really cool to actually just see a bit more of a better version of it. But overall, I think this is definitely really cool, because I think we're getting Harry and Draco, and then Professor what's his name? Alright, Professor Lockhart, and then I believe Snape as well, but it is a little hard to see. So the overall design of it definitely does look really cool. There seems to be some sort of like sticker. I think that's like the not Gryffindor, the sort of Hogwarts crest in a way. So that's really cool. I love the overall design for it, because it definitely does capture that really cool design for Hogwarts. And you could possibly even include this in Hogwarts as well if they did update it. And I also like the stage build as well, or like the sort of part where Harry and Draco duel. So I might possibly put this maybe in A. I think A is a good position. Then we have the Hogwarts Express, and I think this was possibly maybe like wave 2 of the early Harry Potter sets. And wow, I love everything in this set. You get a really nice Hogwarts like sort of train. I love the build for that with the 3 carriages, and then the build for like the station maybe, or maybe Foolproof Drive, but it may not be. I think that's like Hogsmeade, the station at like where Hogwarts is. So I really love everything they have included. It's not just a train, they've actually included Hogsmeade. Wow, I'm struggling to say that. So I really wish in the future we actually do get an updated version of Hogsmeade, because it would have been really cool to just see a different sort of part of Hogwarts, instead of just getting like sort of extensions for Hogwarts. We can actually get sort of like Hogmeades and all that. Wow, I'm struggling to say that word. And then the minifigs also do look really cool, and I think they're using the skin tone colors, so that was possibly maybe like wave 2. So I might possibly put this set in A in first position, because I think the build in this definitely does look really cool. And however much this set was, it'd possibly be maybe like $100 and maybe $30, and I think that's definitely worth it. Next we have Fluffy, or like these Forbidden Room. I think it's something along the lines of that, because Harry, Ron, and Hermione actually go into this room and they're not sure what it is, and then they are sort of interrupted, possibly. I don't think that's the right word. They're sort of barked at by a three-headed dog, which is a really awesome scene. I definitely enjoyed seeing that. It was also pretty scary seeing for the first time, and I think LEGO have captured that really specific mold for Fluffy, the three-headed dog. I really love the mold for it, and I would have loved to seen a new version of Fluffy with like a lot of detailing on, I think it's a her maybe, or a him, and like new sort of facial expression with the new molding. So I really wish LEGO updated Fluffy in like some of the newer sets. But the build is definitely really cool. I love the sort of spiral staircase with these really specific staircase pieces, and then also this sort of like cylinder piece in a way, and they make this really cool spiral build. And then the build for like the sort of archway is definitely really cool as well, and this can also possibly be like integrated in a really big sort of Hogwarts display. So I might possibly put this set maybe in second position in A. Next we have, I believe, a 2010 or 12 set, and this is the Burrow. Now, the build for this definitely does look really similar to the latest one. The color scheme, I think, is possibly very similar, but then the design of it also does look really similar, but there are some differences, so it's really cool to actually compare them. And then I think the minifigs are also similar, because we do get Bellatrix Lestrange, and then Fenric Greyback, and then I think Harry's in the set, Molly, and then Arthur Weasley. I don't think Arthur was in the latest one, but he may have been. So I really love the overall design for this, with this sort of iconic shape of it, because like the Weasleys always live in some really interesting houses, and I think the unique design for that, they've definitely captured it really well. And honestly, the box art on that looks really awesome, with like the moon in the background, the fire, because that was a really cool scene to actually see in the Half-Blood Prince. So I might possibly put this set, maybe in second position in A. Next up, we have this really interesting build for some sort of like sorting hat spinner thing. Now, I really love the creativity behind this. Instead of just having like a small build for Hogwarts in the Great Hall and then just Harry sitting on a stool with the hat, they've actually sort of twisted it a bit and had this really creative idea of the sorting hat, and like you can actually maybe like flick it and then it will sort of like spin on this sort of spiral printed like sort of circular dish. Maybe I'm not 100% sure on what that is, but I really love the creativity behind that. And it's also really smart. Instead of just having like a small build for like Harry on a stool with the sorting hat, they've actually made this really interesting and also a pretty awesome play feature. So I really love just how simple it is, but it's also very creative and also pretty effective. So I really wish LEGO actually did something like that and updated it a bit, maybe have a bit more of a complex sort of play feature, but I think it's definitely really cool. So I might possibly put it, maybe in last position, maybe second last position in A. Next we have when Draco sort of confronts Buckbeak, when Harry sort of impresses everybody and Draco wants to outwit everybody and sort of be more better than Potter. So I really find the sort of mold for Buckbeak really interesting, because it's very simple, and for the time when this came out, it would have been really awesome to just see a Buckbeak mold. The build for like the garden, I'm pretty sure that's some sort of garden, is very simple, but instead of just having like Buckbeak and Draco, they've just included something else to just have Buckbeak sort of sit there and just to make it look a little more appealing. So I really like the inclusion of that. And then Draco, I'm pretty sure is the exact same from the other sets we've actually gotten for Draco, but the only difference is I think he has flesh tone or like sort of skin tone. So I might possibly put him maybe in maybe first position, no, maybe second last position for the moment in B, because I wish they included maybe something else, maybe like a few other Hogwarts students who are like watching, maybe a couple of his friends, so it would have been really interesting to see that. Next we have, and I believe this is the first, or I'm really not sure on which sort of version of Hagrid's hut this is, because we've actually gotten a couple. I think there's like maybe 4 at the moment now, with like the new one in 2019. So I'm pretty sure this is possibly maybe like the third or the second one. But I think it's really an interesting design for Hagrid's hut, because he also does have a really interesting house build, and also very unique because it does stand out from other sort of houses, and it's the only sort of small house in the grounds of Hogwarts. So it's really cool to actually see a build for this. So I really love the roof design with like the sort of angled roof, the chimney, the detailing with like the brick sticker or like print, the door, and then the build for Aragog, I'm pretty sure that's her name. I think that's definitely a really interesting build as well. I think like she does have some stickers on her, and then I really love how it's just like not a sort of a regular spider to represent Aragog, because she is a big spider. Now hopefully it is a she. Now very sorry if she or he is not. So I really love how they've actually created Aragog as a big spider, not just like a sort of medium-sized one. I would possibly say it's like a large spider, because it's a little more bigger than the minifigs, and it's really cool to actually see Hagrid there, and I think that's a really awesome mold for him, for his body, because he does stand out from other minifigs as well, so it's great to see that. And then the build for like the sort of garden in the background, maybe. I don't think that is though. That is really interesting to just see like some flowers. So I might possibly put this set maybe in third position in A. No, maybe third position in A. Next up, we have a Hogwarts build, and wow, this looks really incredible. I think this was from like the Order of the Phoenix, and sort of represented that movie. And I must say, there's a lot going on in this set, because instead of just having sort of like different builds for Hogwarts, like we had in some of the latest Harry Potter sets, like the Whomping Willow, the Great Hall, the Clock Tower, they've actually made this really big and pretty epic sort of Hogwarts build. Now I think this was from the Order of the Phoenix, because Umbridge is in that set, this sort of little pink sort of minifig there, and a lot of other really interesting minifigs as well, including some, I was about to say Death Eaters, but the Mentors, I believe, which is pretty interesting, but I don't think, no, I think they're the thresholds, or what are they called? Oh man, I'm really struggling with that word. Whatever they are, I think they're the sort of those sort of like skeleton horse things, so it's really interesting to see that. And I love the build for Hogwarts. I definitely really love the color scheme with like sort of light grey and the dark grey. Really nice sort of sand color. And then also this really awesome color for this sort of greenish. But I do wish they used these really cool pieces for the sort of roof for Hogwarts, instead of just using like the sort of cylinder pieces, because it does look really sort of plain and boring without those pieces. But I might possibly put this set maybe in maybe second position, because for this sort of set coming out at that time, that would have been really awesome to get, because it doesn't just look epic on the outside, it does look pretty epic on the inside as well. And I know you can't see, but you can definitely tell there's going to be a lot happening in there, like with possibly maybe Professor Umbridge's like sort of office, so that would have been really cool to get. Next up, we have, I think, possibly one of the first ever sort of Quidditch sets we did get, and I really like just getting different Hogwarts or / Quidditch sets, because it really does look really interesting if you do compare them all together, just the different designs for the minifigs, the builds, and I'm pretty sure this is like one of the Gryffindor or Slytherin sort of towers where the students / teachers would sit to actually watch the game. And I really do like the goal square, because I think the hoops are a really interesting piece, and it does look cool as well with, I think that is Madam Hooch, or what's his name, Oliver Wood sort of teaching Harry, but I don't think it's Oliver, I'm pretty sure it's Hooch. And then Harry on his broomstick with Draco in the background catching a snitch. I think that is really cool. I liked how we got like Pacific pieces for snitches. Instead of just getting like a golden stud or like a sort of yellow stud, they actually made a Pacific piece for it. So I do like the build for like the sort of part where teachers and students stand, because instead of just having them just like with no other build, just like students just standing there watching, I really like how they did incorporate that. So I might possibly put this set maybe in second position in B. Next we just have a really small set, and all this was this scene from the Philosopher's Stone or Sorcerer's Stone when Draco actually takes Neville's sort of remember ball, and then like Harry and Draco go into their sort of like first flying sort of task in a way, or just sort of like flying lesson, because like Madame Hooch said if anybody's off the ground then you're gonna get like I think expelled or something along the lines of that. So it's really interesting to just see Lego create such a simple scene, and it really doesn't go for too long, possibly maybe like say 3 minutes, but I really liked getting Draco and Harry in such a cheap set. I don't actually have this, but it's really cool to actually see them with their brooms, and then the really Pacific, I think that's just like a translucent head or a Pacific sort of mold, or like sort of, yeah, whatever it is called for the remember ball. I think that is really cool. What would have made it even awesomer or just cooler was if they actually included a color inside of it, because red would represent in the remember ball that you've actually forgotten something, and then a bunch of other colors would actually represent something. So possibly maybe blue would represent you're upset. I'm not 100% sure, but it would have been really cool to just see like a sort of color sort of splattered inside of it to represent that. And then the build down the bottom, I think that's just like sort of trolley in a way, or some sort of like compartment to actually have all the Quidditch stuff possibly. So for that I might possibly put it maybe in maybe second last position in B, because I really wished we got possibly maybe a couple other Hogwarts students. Don't get me wrong, having Draco and Harry in a set is definitely really pretty awesome, because you really don't get to see them one-on-one in a set just by themselves. But I really wish we possibly maybe got maybe a small build for Hogwarts, maybe, of like where Harry sort of catches the remember ball and McGonagall is there. So I really wish we possibly got maybe something else, but a cheap set would possibly, this cheap set would possibly go for like $9. And then finally we have the 2010 or 12 Quidditch set, and wow, this was such an improvement, and even the 2018 one was an improvement on both of these, but I really loved seeing this because the sort of Quidditch part of it is definitely really cool. Some other sort of comparisons you could make is that both or all three of the Quidditch sets do have a goal square, and then a sort of part where students and teachers can sit. Where they sort of separate is that the two Quidditch sets, this one and the one we just did, they do include Madame Hooch. So I really wished we got a minifig or an updated version for Madame Hooch in the latest Quidditch set. And then Oliver Wood, I'm pretty sure, is only in this one and then the latest one. And then the build for the sort of stand for the students and Hogwarts students and teachers is really interesting. You can definitely see some comparisons between all three of them, and then the sort of build does look really interesting for the goal square. I'm pretty sure they're only on like a possibly maybe like a 5x5 plate, so it's really interesting to actually see that instead of just having like a long plate for all of them to stand on. And the only problem with that is like if you were to accidentally like knock it like slightly, it can very easily fall over because of the weight. Now I'm not sure if that is true, but apart from that, I think the minifig selection is definitely really cool. We're getting an updated version of Draco and Harry because they all do have sort of flesh skin tone. So I might possibly put this set, maybe in fifth position in A. Maybe fourth position in A. So, hope you guys did enjoy this first installment in me ranking all the LEGO Harry Potter sets. So definitely stay tuned for the other installments, because I possibly believe there will be maybe 3 or 4 more. I'm not 100% sure yet. Now, once again, another huge shout out to Lego Potter Productions for this idea, because when I saw it, I knew I definitely had to do a video on this. So I would definitely love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below on this first installment in me ranking all the Lego Harry Potter sets. So I'm definitely really excited to continue this with the other installments. So definitely stay tuned for that, and I hope you guys are excited as well. So as always, guys, hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I can always see you next video. Goodbye!